It's your favorite YouTube dealer. I appreciate you guys for stopping in. We got something new from Samson. It came out a couple of days ago. I meant to dive into it immediately and I completely forgot, but it's called Sincerely a Taxpayer. So I have a feeling there's going to be a few things that we're going to be able to discuss in this. So let's see what he's doing with it.
I'm hurting. I can feel my money draining. They take everything I make and you wonder why I'm complaining. I break my neck to make this money that they just come and take it from me. My wages ain't that great in the first place. I should be paying you nothing, but they keep on coming and they keep on taking. These motherfuckers go ham on me every time I bring them the bacon. And I wonder what it's for. Ukraine, great funding a war. Have we spent enough yet? Should I guess not? Look, here they come for some more.
I feel this. Listen, tax time is like the worst time ever, especially if you're doing anything where you're making your own money, you're considered self-employed. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. Like when I worked at like AT&T, I mean, I still didn't like having to pay taxes out of every paycheck, but come tax time, I'm like, listen, I'm getting some money back. You know what I'm saying, I throw it some savings, buy a couple of things. Now I'm just like, I got to pay all my money. That's how it feels. It's ridiculous. And you know, as far as the Ukraine thing, people are going to feel different ways about that. I understand the helping, and I do. I feel like people should help each other, whether it's our country to another country, person to person, whatever the case is. But there's a point at which it's like, are we doing a little bit too much? Because as much as we've given over there, we have so many things that we should be fixing here. The homeless situation, like there's so many things, and we don't put nearly the same amount of money into it. And that I can understand the argument on both sides of it. I would say that I probably lean a little bit more towards the people that are like, why are we giving them so much money? I would lean more towards that side where I kind of question it. And, you know, again, I'm cool with giving help and trying to, you know, because if one day, God forbid, our country is in that position, I would hope that we're not just going to drown, right? Like somebody would potentially help us. I know that we don't like to see it that way, or people don't think it'll ever happen, but every great nation has kind of fallen throughout history. So I worry that the time will come eventually. But that aside, I just feel like we have a lot of stuff in-house that we need to fix. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like the way that I look at it is like myself as a person, right? Like I can want a lot of things to change around me, but at the same time, there's things internally that I should probably be changing first. Cause like I should, you know what I mean? Like I can't help everybody else. Like, oh, this person's got this problem. Let me go help him. Let me go help her. Let me go help, when it's like, I've got shit that I've got to help myself for, you know, does that make sense? I don't know. I guess like, I mean, that's just a smaller scale of it, but there's just a lot of shit that we should be focused on before we just give billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars to some other country. It's hard to convince me otherwise, but hey, if you got an argument, please leave it down below in the comments.
Fuck me, I'm sore. Sucks being poor. You had the same job for the last 6 years, wasn't struggling before. Back when Trump was in office, fuck all the junk that they called him. I never saw any of the shit that people always said he was in the comments. All of it was nonsense. I ain't even trying to ride him either. I'm just saying you gotta admit that shit was fine when he was the leader. It was fine when he was in charge. I never saw bills as high as they are. I never got chills just literally thinking about filling up my car. It shouldn't be that way. I don't care about Russia or Ukraine, but I do care about my own country. Is that insane? I care a lot about all the tons of money that we're paying, because it's mine, not yours, and I'm the one that feels the pain. I get taxed on my fucking ass for every dime I make. It'd be fine if they would spend my money wisely, but no way. It'd be great if they would take it and pay for important shit that benefited you and me, and not just wage wars with it. And
I mean, is he not speaking facts? Is he not speaking facts? And I can, again, understand the argument, because things that happen around the world could ultimately affect our country in the long run. So I do understand that, but again, does it really make sense that we've given as much money as it's like he said, we're kind of waging war with it. We're kind of, you know, like without us going to war, like this is our funnel to make it kind of happen. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I'm pretty sure everybody knows what I'm talking about. I don't need to keep saying, does that make sense? I think it makes perfect sense. I think everybody knows exactly what we're talking about, where this is all going. It's crazy. Now, whether or not, I'll be honest with you, I'm not super political, and I'm still not now, but I definitely wasn't so many years back. I just was not focused on half of that stuff. Probably should be, because it is something that's going to affect my life. So I can't really speak on how things were, how they, you know, I don't really know. I feel like I have so many other things that I'm focused on, so I can't really speak on all of that. I will say, though, that the gas prices right now are really crazy, and I can only imagine in some places like California, because here last time I saw it was like $4 a gallon. which is wild to me. I remember being back in high school when that shit was like less than $1, or it was like $1 or something. Like, you just scrounged change together and you were good to go for a little while. Nowadays, it's like, well, there goes half the money I made.
Every dime I make, it'd be fine if they would spend my money wisely, but no way. It'd be great if they would take it and pay for important shit that benefited you and me and not just wage your wars with it. And where the fuck are all the liberals? I thought you stood against this shit. I thought the war machine was your enemy. Now you're friends with it? Now you wanna go to war? Now you wanna fight? Now you wanna pick sides in a feud where everyone is white? Now you wanna get involved and go and blow a person up? I'm just saying, I'm surprised this altercation ain't diverse enough. No one deserves this stuff. I just don't believe the tears you weep. Countries where brown people get bombed every day. I don't hear a peep, you fucking hypocrites. Thought the race thing was your shtick. I thought as long as white people were involved, you don't give a shit. Those are your words, not mine. I'm just wondering why. Why do we have endless money for them and none for Hawaii? Why is it every time Zelensky needs a loan from someone, we're the only ones that give it to him like we owe him something?
Yo, that's some real shit. I haven't looked far into it, but I want to say they're like, yo, the people in Hawaii are going to get like $600 each. It's like, motherfucker, we gave billions to this other country. This is our country that's going through this. Why would we not give more? Why would we yo, this man's speaking facts. This man is speaking facts. I don't know what to tell you.
Just wondering why. Why do we have endless money for them and none for Hawaii? Why is it every time Zelensky needs a loan from someone, we're the only ones that give it to him like we owe him something? We got issues of our own here at home that no one's discussing, and they keep growing cause no one in power is gonna do nothing. We're stuck. How the fuck we gonna help somebody else when we can't even reach inside our own pockets to help ourselves? We could allocate that money to our own people in different ways, to clothe and feed and bathe and let them know it'll be okay. We could definitely do that. Don't tell me it's not that simple. People overcomplicate this and make it some fucking riddle like can't just feed everyone. Are you insane? You know how much that costs? Way less than we've sent to Ukraine. I know that for sure. You don't have to be a mathematician or a foreign relations expert to figure out that division.
Yo, I love this man. Yo, bruh, Samson is that guy. Samson is that guy.
Feed and bathe and let them know it'll be okay. We could definitely do that. Don't tell me it's not that simple. People overcomplicate this and make it some fucking riddle like can't just feed everyone. Are you insane? You know how much that costs? Way less than we've sent to Ukraine. I know that for sure. You don't have to be a mathematician or a foreign relations expert to figure out that division. You don't have to draw a graph to see it would cost a fraction to solve half of the problems we have and stop them from happening. I'm just saying, what kind of fucking world we living in? So many billions we've given them. When's Europe chipping in? When we gonna start splitting and stirring up the dividends and begin telling other nations it's your turn to lend a hand? Listen, I don't think Ukraine deserves any of this, but I also don't think Zelensky is as great as they said he is. I don't believe the media when they blurt shit on their shows. You'd have to be naive to think this dude's as pure as driven snow. No one is, especially when you run a nation, dog. Your morals are compromised the minute that you take the job. So I don't trust Zelensky, Putin, Biden, or anyone. I don't think any of them give a fuck about all us little ones. All the people of Russia, all the people of Ukraine, most of the people of the USA probably feel the same. We don't want this shit, it's only the elites that do. They line their pockets, they profit from this, but not from me and you.
I've said this so many times. I was like, when you really think about it, these wars and all this shit that happens and all the decisions, it's made by less than like 0.1% of the people in the world. When you think there's like 8-9 billion people in the world. But if you take the people in charge that are making these calls that affect the rest of us, it's probably less than 0.1%. And even if it was 1%, like, do you know what I'm saying? How crazy that sounds? It's like out of all the people in the world, 1% of them, or 0.1% or 0.5% or whatever it actually falls to, is making all of the decisions that put us at war, that affect our everyday lives. They're literally the ones that affect our everyday lives. The people there, the people in all these different countries, we probably all do feel relatively the same to an extent. I'm sure there's outliers and there's, obviously we don't all agree on everything here in America, but for the most part, we're in a very similar boat. And it's not even really up to us. We might feel like, oh, I vote for this, or I back this, or I back that, but none of us are actually making any decisions. And whether or not all the people that backed a certain thing decided not to back it isn't going to change the fact it's going to happen. We just don't have that power. We don't have that say. We're literally just pawns in a larger chess game that we have no control over.
It's a compromise the minute that you take the job. So I don't trust Zelensky, Putin, Biden, or anyone. I don't think any of them give a fuck about all us little ones. All the people of Russia, all the people of Ukraine, most of the people of the USA probably feel the same. We don't want this shit, it's only the elites that do. They line their pockets, they profit from this, but not from me and you. Quite the contrary, in fact, we pay for it with our lives and money. They take chunks of everything we make, and soldiers die for nothing, so they can gain some more power and keep their banks fat, and all we get is table scraps. Fuck yeah, it makes me mad. Fuck yeah, I get upset. We're constantly ignored. Why the fuck I gotta pay for this? I don't want this war. How the Pentagon have $6 billion unaccounted for, but when I do my taxes, I'm afraid to be $1 short. I'm afraid I'll go to jail. I'm afraid I'll do some time if I don't pay you back the money that you wasted. That was mine. I can't keep quiet anymore. It's impossible to shut up. I'm sick and tired of being responsible for all your fuck ups, but the question is, what we gonna do about it? There's never a plan of action. All we seem to do is shout it, and I'm guilty of it too. Always bitching and complaining, never walking, always talking, always lipping off and saying I'ma do shit, but I don't. And to be honest with you, that's the reason I don't make a lot of songs, and that's the truth. I'm sick of bumping my gums. I'm tired of flapping my jibs. Something needs to be done, and I don't know if rapping is it. We need a real solution, but we need to get together first, because unless we're all in this as a whole, it'll never work. However, what do I know? I'm just a moron with a pen, but there's power in numbers, and there's more of us than them.
The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on, continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all, at all, at all.
Shout out to George Carlin. Shout out to Samson. I mean, honestly, it's the truth. It's the same with myself, right? Like we're all bumping our gums. We're all saying, and the crazy thing is he's right. Like, right, there's more of us than them. I mean, it sounds like a declaration of itself that we would have to make to actually get in and make some change, but I don't think it'll ever happen, right? Like we'll never all get on the same page, and that's what they rely on, the fact that humans will never group up in that mass to actually make any type of difference. I don't think that we ever will. I know in the past, in certain ways it did, but it didn't require as many as it would require now to actually get together. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'd like to believe that I'm wrong and that things will change. But I also worry that, like, let's just say that it went down that path where we all kind of really banded together and really pushed to make change regardless of what it took. I feel like that weakens us as a country, and inevitably some other country is going to take advantage of that. Does anybody else feel the same way? Like, so we're in this really weird spot. We're in this really weird spot, but it's the truth. And shout out to everything George Carlin said at the end, because that is a fact. They don't give a shit about us. We could say that we support the right, we support the left, but none of them actually gives a shit about us. Again, we are just the pawns in their bigger chess game with no say in it. And we're here to be, I don't want to say sacrificed like literally, but in a sense, yes, we're here to be sacrificed. We're here to just do the deeds, right? Keep the economy moving, working these different jobs, doing what they need us to do, getting out there and voting and feeling like we're making a big change. And, oh man, we've got this guy in office. But in all reality, at the very top, it is what it just is what it is. It is what it's going to be. And honestly, they're not even in as much power as you would think. Like it's the corporations, right? At the end of the day, right? Like a big pharma, like all these different corporations that have billions and billions and billions of dollars that then pay towards the campaigns and the this and that and the third, that make a lot of the major decisions, which is why things work the way that they work. Like if you talk to different doctors, whether it's like, doctors in the field of cancer, like they'll even, like a lot of them will even agree with you, like, yo, listen, the shit is kind of messed up, right? Like there's so much money in it that it's right. It's a benefit to have you sick. Like if they were to just be like, but let's just figure out, let's really just cure everybody in some day. I'm not saying that they have some magical cure that they're not giving us, but let's just say that we put a lot of money into finding a cure. In the long run, all these companies lose money. So why would they actually push that as like the biggest priority for them? It's never going to be. It's never going to be. It's the same thing with mental health. And like, would it really pay off to put a crazy amount of money into determining a way to try to help people that are going through stuff that need antipsychotics and so on and so forth? Or does it make more money to create all these antipsychotics and just put people on them and leave them on them for their entire life? Instead of putting them on them for a short period of time, maybe taking them off, seeing how they're at, like going through all the process and actually spending money to make sure that they can function amongst life, right? Like I think I read something somewhere where it was like in the past, people that were prescribed stuff and were diagnosed as bipolar actually got back to working at some point, got like, a lot of them, not everybody, obviously some people are just really in an unfortunate situation, but a lot of them got back to working. It wasn't like this lifelong, you're just going to be debilitated forever and here's medication and just push them over here type of thing. Now that's what it is. And it's because medicine has become such a moneymaker that there's so much to it that I'm taking it off of even the main topic here, but it all plays in. It all plays in, and it's really, really sad to see. It's really sad to see. But this is I like shit like this because it needs to be said. It needs to be talked about. It brings about a bigger discussion. So shout out to Samson. Shout out to you guys for stopping in. I appreciate you guys. If you're new, subscribe. I will continue to do reactions to stuff that he drops. And, we'll continue to have this conversation. My Tribe Reacts channel, we've done a little bit of it. I do a lot of police reactions now, but I probably will get back to discussing some stuff like this on there. And that link is down below in the description for anybody that's interested. But I will catch you in the next one, homies.
I don't believe in the future, so I just look to my past life. I take all the lessons I've learned and then I create me a moment you can't write. It's different than dreams, it's different than wishing for shit that you see. It's something you build, you gotta shed tears, and if you gon' live it, accept that you'll bleed. This ain't a drill, that's just a beat. This shit is real, cause that's what you need. This is the pill, that is the seat. Take you a moment before you concede. I got a lot of shit waiting on change, but every day wake up and do it the same. I'm sick of my mind, it's out of control. I thought it was fine, but that was a phase. I mean, it's like, I got a chance, why would I blow it? It's all that I have.